Well, should we start, sir?
Just give, I think, just give 2 more minutes, and we'll just start. Some people are waiting.
Hello, Zulfiqar. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, sir, for coming and joining. You are joining.
So much silence, and that silence was a forewarning for a storm to arrive. So I hope there's a good storm.
There won't be a bad thing happening here, as you are already attending one session with Dr. Saab. If you remember, yeah.
Last night I was feeling so stressed up. So today I have an opportunity to know the techniques, how to manage it.
Yeah, hopefully. This is a stressful time, you know. This presentation indeed is a need of ours.
Absolutely.
In COVID-19, everybody is stressed. Yes.
Although one Indian actor once said, whenever he would feel tension, he would say to that tension, no tension. So I think we should learn this.
So we should start, I guess.
Yes, Ellen, can you please just start?
So I have to unmute myself. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. It is titled The ABC of Stress Management, and it's presented by, and I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name, Dr. Asir Ajad Amal, who holds a PhD. He's a CEO of Mind Games Training Assessment and Research. Dr. Ajmal, thank you very much for joining us. Our second presenter is Zulfiqar Khan. Most of us know him. Zulfiqar co-founded IGIP. He does not need a big introduction, but he does hold a CPCU designation, ARM, ARE, ERIS, CTIP, and I think I'll stop there for now. He's Executive VP of General Insurance Limited. And then our third presenter is Mohammed Hassan. He holds the ACII designation, and he's the regional head of IGT General. Thank you everyone again for attending, and I will hand our first speaker will be Hisham. I'm not sure which one of you want to go first.
We are
Okay,
just
I'll
going to introduce Dr. Saab indeed. The
Okay.
main or key presenter will be Dr. Asir Ajmal. Me and Hisham Saab will just introduce. You already actually introduced what we need to talk about. But today we are just thankful to Dr. Saab that he has joined today's webinar and he is giving us time. Indeed, in COVID-19, everybody in the world gets stressed. Even in the work environment, people have stress of getting, you can say, fired or layouts and even in the pay structure reduction by some people have getting 50% or 30% or 40%, depending on how worse they got impact from the COVID-19. So in this all this such scenario or environment, we want to learn about stress management from Dr. Saab. He being so kind that he volunteered for today's session. I am thankful on the behalf of IGIP and on the behalf of Lahore Insurance Institute, and I will ask Mr. Hisham, as being chairman of Lahore Insurance Institute, to say some words. Thank you.
Thank you, Zulfiqar. Thank you, Ellen, for introducing us, and welcome everyone on this seminar on ABC of stress management. Uh, I think Zulfiqar has just touched upon this very important topic that COVID has really got us into a very new dynamic of the world that we are now living in. So starting from working from home and managing meetings remotely, there and handling the family at the same time. So there have been a new normal, as we call it. So I think today's talk will be very important for us because in all these COVID times, we have not heard from anyone who is an expert on stress and the mind sciences as such. So I think I would like to welcome Dr. Asir, who is an expert of the subject. And on behalf of Lahore Insurance Institute and IGIP, I would like to thank him for giving his precious time. I would also like to thank Zulfiqar and his team for taking the initiative. Ellen uh, has always been very kind, and it's 7 a.m. At her place. A very convenient time for all of us, but I don't think it's a convenient time for her at on a weekend. So thank you, Ellen. And I think without wasting any time, I would like Dr. Asir to just start his talk. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Hisham, Zulfiqar Saab, Elaine. Thank you so much for this. Let me quickly introduce myself because I don't think all of you know me. I'm a psychologist by training and profession. I have also been a leadership trainer for Franklin Covey International for the last 6 years. And recently I've set up my own firm called Mind Games Training, Assessment, and Research, because I believe that we need to take a more psychological and a more humanistic angle on the kinds of training we deliver. Anyway, I'd like to start with a story, that of online teaching and the stress that it caused for people. It's an interesting phenomenon because what's happened is that I'm viewing somebody's screen. Can we have this screen off? Sorry. Yes, thank you. Okay, so in Pakistan, when online teaching started early this year due to COVID-19, there was a major crisis. Many students in the universities refused to study online. There were problems of internet, there were problems of screens freezing during lectures, sound quality not being very good. And my friends in the US were telling me similar stories saying, it is a crisis. And it's a universal one. And then so we prepared for online teaching. We worked very hard at my university where I teach psychology. So we divided our coursework into three waves. The first wave was purely online. The second wave was also purely online. The third wave was when sort of this COVID crisis sort of dissipated temporarily. We started live classes on campus. But we also gave students the option of studying things online. So the class was delivered in the physical classroom, but the Zoom connection was available for those students who would opt to study from home. What do you think happened? Nobody turned up to physical classes. They were so used to being at home. It was so convenient. There were no transport costs. People didn't have to change their clothes. They would just switch off their screen and attend classes. And what I found this really shocking because I thought that students would throng the universities and would sort of, crowd them out, and there would be, sort of serious problems trying to keep the SOPs and the masks and the social distancing. But students just didn't show up. So this is interesting, and that is where I would like to start. So let's see. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, can you all see my screen now?
It's visible.
Okay. So what I would like to start with is a mindfulness meditation exercise. What happens is that whenever we're stressed, see COVID-19 or no COVID-19, stress has always been a part of our lives. And stress is part of the reason why we do work. There is some responsibility, there is a sense of doing well, we want to succeed, so we have to face stress. But then sometimes it gets too much. So we need some activity or some, I would say, inactivity that is built into our daily routine. So what I would like to start with is a mindfulness meditation exercise. And can you hear me with it? Can you hear my voice as well as the background music?
I can.
Can you? Okay, great. Great. I would just lower the background music a little bit and talk to you. I would like you to close your eyes and take a deep, long, slow, gentle breath. Please close your eyes and continue to take deep, long, slow, gentle breaths. Breathe in and out slowly, deeply, gently. I want you to visualize a garden, a very large garden with many sections. And you are at the moment in the section of a garden where there is a huge lawn and the grass has been freshly cut. And you're walking barefoot on this grass, and the blades of the freshly cut grass are tickling your feet. You can smell freshly cut grass. As the cool breeze touches your face and refreshes you, as you breathe in slowly, deeply, and gently, and now you decide to go to another section of the garden where there are hundreds of flower beds. And in this section, you have flowers from all over the world, of all different colors and shades. Red, orange, green, blue, purple, yellow, saffron, lilac, any color that you can imagine. They're all different colors and so many different aromas that together the scent of the flower impinges on your senses as the most amazing perfume you can imagine. And you decide to lie down on the ground, surrounded by these flowers. And as you breathe in slowly, deeply, and gently, and breathe out slowly and gently, you fall asleep. And in this sleep, you have really pleasant dreams, beautiful dreams, colorful dreams of happiness, joy, peace, serenity, ecstasy, and pleasure. Your body, your heart, and your mind are filled with joy as you lie there dreaming. And you can hear the melodies of hundreds of different kinds of birds blending into a beautiful harmony. And this harmony impinging upon your senses, and the perfume of these thousands of different flowers impinging upon your senses as you dream of happiness, joy, and pleasure. And as you dream of love, joy, and ecstasy. And after about 1 minute, the music will stop, and then I will ask you to open your eyes. But until that time, continue to breathe deeply, slowly, and gently, and keep your eyes closed. All right. Right. I hope you can all see my screen. Okay. So when we talk about stress management, there are two things that are an absolute must. One is self-awareness and the other is self-management. Let me quickly go over what I mean by self-awareness first. We go around doing our work every day. We are busy with family responsibilities, with all kinds of activities, day in, day out, managing things, managing people, managing ourselves. But a lot of the times we are not aware that things are getting too much. We are not aware that we might be experiencing burnout. We're not aware that we are starting to become depressed or anxious or hostile. So the first step is always, inevitably and invariably, self-awareness. If we want to manage our stress, first we have to become aware of ourselves, and then only can we start to manage ourselves. So I hope this distinction is clear to everyone, and that we need to start with self-awareness. In this time of COVID-19, everybody around me was very, very worried. People were thinking about death. People were thinking about, their relatives, and people who've passed away, people who are facing difficult situations, left, right, and center. People were constantly preoccupied. And what I noticed was that in my life, I was faced with several opportunities, which was quite astonishing. As the Dean of Arts and Social Sciences in the university where I work, I was faced with the challenge of how to deliver online education. And honestly, I didn't know much about online education. So I decided to educate myself. I went on Coursera and took a course by University of New South Wales in Australia on online teaching. I finished that course very, very quickly, since it was a self-paced course, and then delivered the same training to our faculty. It allowed me to take a leadership role very, very early on during this crisis, and consolidated my position at the university. At the same time, we noticed that the air quality index in Lahore, which was one of the dirtiest cities in terms of air quality, sort of started to become clean, and the air quality improved radically. So I thought, okay, as far as I'm concerned, things aren't looking that bad. So that's just one, story I wanted to share, that not everything has to be negative in a difficult situation. But let's continue. Let's talk about it. Can you indulge me now and just quickly write down 5 of your most important strengths, 5 of your most troubling weaknesses, and in addition, if there are any current challenges that you're facing. So please take a minute, write down 5 of your most important strengths, 5 of your most troubling weaknesses, and your current challenges. If you don't want to write down, you can just think about them, and any one of you can, should feel free to volunteer what they think are their most important strengths, the most troubling weaknesses, and your current challenges. Any volunteers? Are we all going to play silent?
Maybe I should volunteer someone. I think I should volunteer Hisham.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to
Hisham.
do one. Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, one of the strengths which I think I have is that when I encounter a probable failure in achieving something, I do not give up. I always think that there must be some deficiency which has been instrumental in bringing me this kind of failure. So I should start looking for it and work on it. So it gave me an opportunity to search myself rather than getting depressed on this. So that I
Brilliant.
always find it as my strength. And
Okay, one strength is great. And what about one weakness?
well, the weakness, I'll have to search out. I have to
See,
be
that I would
honest
say,
and-
Mr. Bhatt, could be a weakness, not knowing your
yeah,
weaknesses.
that's right. I agree with you. Totally agree with you. Because there are
Right.
definitely weaknesses. I just wanted to point out the main weakness, but definitely there are quite a few.
Right.
Probably right.
Right. Anybody
I'll
else
point out
wants to share? Yeah, Elaine?
I'll point out one of my weaknesses. It's my temper.
Right. So you get angry very quickly, short fuse?
Sometimes, yes. With the
Right.
right people, or maybe the wrong one, I should say.
Right.
Yeah, one of
So,
the biggest weakness for me is also that I can't, I don't want to say no to someone where I should be saying no. I just want to please the other person. And even though in myself, I feel that I'm not doing the justice, but I don't find the strength to say no to something which actually I should say so.
right, brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Gee, anybody else? A strength, a weakness, a challenge?
I think one weakness that I have is probably not managing the time properly. Time management, I would say it.
Right. Maybe I would share a tip with you on time management today, and that
Yes.
should help. That should
Yes.
definitely help. All right. Great. So let's move on. I just wanted us to do this activity. You know, when you're back at home, maybe it might be a good idea to write down 5 of your strengths, 5 of your weaknesses, and 5 of your current challenges. And that'll help you with self-awareness. And self-awareness, as I said, is the first step towards stress management. Okay, so now I am putting before you the ABC model of stress. You know, what happens is that there are adversities in our lives, or I would say activating events as far as stress is concerned. Anything that causes us some kind of difficulty or frustration, that's adversity. And I will jump to the consequence, which is stress, which could result in depression, which could result in anxiety, which could result in so many negative consequences. But in the middle is belief. So if you look at it, adversity, belief, consequence. And I would like to explain how this works. Let's say you're walking down the street and somebody smacks your bottoms with a stick. How would you feel? Walking down the street, somebody smacks your bottoms with a stick from behind.
I'd be shocked, puzzled.
Right. Shocked, puzzled, great. Feeling maybe partly
Angry.
humiliating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Angry, yes. Okay. And you turn around in anger. You're like, I'm going to show this person. Who do they think they are? and you see a blind man with a walking stick trying to find his way. How would you feel then? How would you feel? What would happen to your anger? What would happen to your humiliation? What would happen to your shock and, whatever it is that you were feeling, anger, temper? Chances are you will feel embarrassed. Oh,
Yeah.
this was just a poor blind man and I was getting angry for nothing. So if you think about your physical experience of having been smacked on your bottoms, that remains identical. But what changed your emotional reaction was your belief about the situation, your perception of the situation, your assessment of the situation, your understanding of the situation. And that is what we call the ABC model of stress, that a lot of our stress is in fact exaggerated by our beliefs about it. I'm not saying that the stress isn't real. The stress is very real, but our assessment of that stress can sometimes be highly exaggerated. And that causes us more difficulty than the stressful event itself. So the motto here is, you feel the way you think. This is an extremely important principle in psychology. Yes, whenever there is suffering, whenever there is misery, whenever there is pain, we will feel bad. But this bad feeling is made worse by how we think about it. So let me talk about the 4 beliefs or 4 deadly thoughts. The first one is self-deprecation. I am worthless. Now, the thing is, this particular sentence that I've put there, I am worthless, and many different sentences of this kind are experienced by all of us at some point in our life. And it's not just I am worthless. It could be the other person is better than I am. It could be that I am a loser, or that the other person not liking me is something that I can't take, and so on. So that's self-deprecation. When we pity ourselves, when we think of ourselves as losers. Then the second kind of thinking is catastrophizing. So saying this is a disaster, as we do in COVID, and I will talk more about these. The third kind of thinking is thinking that you're not able to take it. It is too much. And that's also a kind of thinking that we need to address, and I will be talking about it shortly. And the fourth one is demands. And these demands can be of others. The people should know how to drive. People must not tell lies. People should treat me fairly and kindly. That I should be strong, etc. All of these are demands that we make of ourselves and others. Okay, so let's look at the first kind, the self-deprecatory kind of thought. I am a loser. I am cursed. I'm a failure. I will never be happy. My brother is better than me or better off than me. Others, my friends, foes, whatever enemies are better than me, and so on. So these are the first set of thoughts, the self-deprecatory thoughts that cause us a lot of suffering. And this could be because of any failure we may have had, or any difficulty we may have had, or any disadvantage that we may have had. We get into this kind of thinking, and that makes things worse, and we become depressed. The second kind is catastrophizing. So if I lose my job, it would be the end of the world. If my son fails the exam, it would be a disaster. If they laugh at me, it would be terrible. So all of these things, if you look at them, we have words like end of the world, it would be a disaster, it would be terrible. And yes, we know that these are exaggerated statements about the outcome. And we'll talk about it shortly and how to deal with it. Then the I can't take this belief. If any of these catastrophes or disasters or end of the world happen, I am not strong enough to take it. I am not strong enough to face it. I won't be able to face it. I won't be able to bear it. So this is the third kind of, or third pattern of thought that causes us unnecessary suffering. And the fourth one is demands of self and others. Demands are basically statements or thoughts that we say to ourselves that go against reality. So for instance, I must not be sensitive. Well, if I am sensitive, how is saying I must not be sensitive going to help? Obviously, it won't. In fact, it'll make us feel worse and even more sensitive, probably. So similarly, they must not be unfair. People should treat me nicely. People shouldn't be dishonest. So these are demands that we make of self and others and are purely irrational. Now let's look at the first kind of thought. I'm a loser to I am who I am. So instead of saying I'm worthless, we say to ourselves, my worth is not determined by successes or failures. My worth as a human being is my worth as a human being. It is an intrinsic worth, it is inside of me. It cannot be determined by others. Failing at something does not make me a failure. Losing something does not make me a loser. I am God's greatest creation as a human being. So that does not change no matter what happens. No matter what I achieve or do not achieve, I remain God's greatest creation. I remain a human being and therefore worthy. So this is the first challenge we need to make to I am a loser kind of thoughts. Then the second one, catastrophizing to painful. So if, God forbid, you fail an exam, is it going to be fun? Of course not. Is it going to be painful? Yes, it is going to be painful. It is going to be inconvenient if you don't get the promotion that you've been waiting for or have been expecting. But it is still not a disaster. When we say something is a disaster, something is a catastrophe, all hell will break loose. Oh my God, it will be the end of the world. We make it more painful than it already is. We multiply our suffering by 10 or even 100 by saying that something is a disaster. So what we need to do is say, it is painful and I'm feeling the pain. It is inconvenient and I'm feeling the inconvenience. I am suffering, but it's still not a disaster. I can't to I can. I can take it. I may need some help, but I can do this. Just remember that anything that fate throws our way, anything that comes our way, any calamity, any difficult situation, any COVID, any pandemic, any difficulty in our lives, we are designed as human beings to face it, to bear it, to survive it. If you think about your past, 100% of your really bad days, you have survived. Obviously, you're here. So if you think you can't face something, think again. Look at your life, rewind it quickly. You have taken so many things, you have survived them and lived to tell the tale. And the last one, demand are to be changed to preference. Instead of saying, I must be treated nicely, you should say, I want to be treated nicely. And what can I do about this? Instead of saying, I want to be treated nicely, maybe we should think about how I treat others. If we sit there and say, oh, my wife must love me, oh, my husband should love me, instead, we should be saying, what am I doing to show him or her love? So this is the proactive alternative to a demand. A demand is something that is against reality. My father shouldn't be the way he is. My mother shouldn't have been the way she was. My sister shouldn't be this way, or my friends must treat me kindly, or my boss must love me. And all these other unrealistic demands should change to, I would like it very much, but if not, too bad. Maybe I should do something to treat others nicely or kindly. So just quickly summarizing this line of reasoning, self-acceptance. I am who I am. My worth as a human is not decided by others. Catastrophe to inconvenience. This is not a disaster. It is painful, inconvenient, but certainly not a disaster, not the end of the world. I can't take it should be changed to I can take it. I may need some help, but I can do this. And demands are to be changed to preferences. I want to be treated nicely. What can I do about this? How can I treat others nicely? Are there any questions at this point?
Dr. Ajmal, this is not a question, but at the bottom of your screen there, it's blacked out. Like we can't see some of the words at the very bottom. I don't know.
Okay, how about now?
It's just a little block there now. Just a little. Yep, that's just a small one. There's just a few words missing now. Oh, there you go. That's it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Right. So demand to preference, I want to be treated nicely. What can I do about this? How should I treat others? So taking a more proactive approach. Any questions? So I'll just quickly summarize. There are 4 kinds of thoughts that are irrational and unhelpful. To call yourself a loser or think of yourself as a failure or pitying yourself is unhelpful. It makes you feel more depressed than the circumstances required. Circumstances may be sad, they may be upsetting, there may have been a serious situation, but still it does not mean that you call yourself a loser or a failure. Similarly, if something bad happens, that's what it is. It's something bad, it's painful, it's inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world. And thinking that it's the end of the world, thinking that all hell will break loose, thinking that it would be terrible, in fact, makes the situation worse than it already is. Similarly, thinking that you can't take something, thinking that it's the straw that broke the camel's back and you are now doomed, is not a very helpful thought. It's not a very logical thought. So it's a very good idea to challenge it and say, I will do my best to face this situation. And finally, demands of self and others need to be changed to preferences. I must be treated nicely changes to how am I treating others? I would like to be treated nicely. And what can I do about this? All right. So, another strategy of overcoming difficulties is reframing. What is bad can also be good. I shared with you the story of online teaching. For me, it just opened so many doors, so many possibilities, so many opportunities arose out of this pandemic that I'm not kidding, I almost thought of it as a blessing. When the environment started to clear in Lahore, when people started to breathe easy, and the pollution and the quality of air situation improved, you know, um, one can say that what is bad can also be good. So in many situations in our lives, when we look at tragedies, when we look at bad situations, when we look at difficulties, these are usually opportunities for growth. These are usually opportunities to do well in some other area or in a slightly different way. And so reframing is a very, very good strategy. So now I would like to show you a quick clip, which is about the power of humor. Humor is a very nice way of reframing, of taking a look at the lighter side of a painful scenario. So here, Mr. Bean is at the cinema with his girlfriend, oh, sorry, with his partner, and let's see what happens. Can you all see the clip?
No, the screen is blank. Oh, it's
Okay,
blank.
how about now?
I cannot. I don't know about anyone else.
Okay, no,
It's
let
still
me,
it's still blank.
okay, let me see now if, I will go to screen share, new share, and okay. Somehow I can't find, let me just quickly find it. Okay. Okay, let me try stop sharing and then resharing. That might help. Hmm. Okay. All right. All right. So the idea here was that we can distract ourselves, and no matter how bad we're feeling, humor can make us feel good, albeit temporarily. So it's a very good sort of mood uplifter in the short term. And I think that if we make humor a part of our lives, even if it's like, looking at funnies or, reading jokes or funny memes or exchanging jokes and funny videos, watching small clips, all of these can be very, very useful strategies in terms of managing our stress on a regular basis, at least in the short term. And if we make them part of our routine, it will also be helpful in the long term. Humor, I'm just sharing some research findings from psychology about humor. Laughter and humor reduce stress. There is evidence for that. We've done many studies that show this. They also boost our immune system. So, if you're afraid of catching a disease or, not having a strong enough immune system, there is enough research evidence to suggest that our immune system is strengthened by humor. And when we laugh, endorphins are secreted and serotonin, which is the feel-good neurotransmitter, increases. And that in turn
Doctor,
boosts our immune. Yes?
we can't see your full screen. All the words are not on the screen. And since it's being live streamed, we might want to see it. Thank you.
Okay, let me see. Stop share and new share. How about now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Just bear in mind, at the very, very top in the middle, there's this black slide that it kind of cuts out humor a bit.
All right. Hide video panel, light floating. Now let me see if I can hide something else. Yeah. Okay, great. Is that better now, Elaine?
That yes, there are no black screens on there. Yes, thank you.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, so humor enhances blood chemistry. There is this strange misconception in the world of psychiatry that our moods are caused by chemical imbalance. In fact, it's the other way around. Usually, in some rare cases, it's the cause and effect is different. But usually, it is our moods that change our blood chemistry, not the other way around. So when we indulge in humor, when we watch something funny, when we experience something funny, it enhances our blood chemistry. The neurotransmitters that make us feel good are released in greater quantity. Similarly, humor stimulates whole brain. Laughter stimulates whole brain. What do I mean by that? The left side of our brain works in a serial way, in a manner that sort of does mathematics, it does language processing, and so on. But our right brain looks for patterns. So in humor, when a pattern is violated, when an expectation is violated, what happens is that both the left brain and the right brain light up as it were, And this whole brain activation actually help us feel much better. Humor in social situations diffuses tensions. And I'm sure you have, those of you who are experienced managers, you not only have experienced it, but I'm sure you use humor to diffuse tension a lot. And I think it's a good idea to practice doing that. So trying to resolve difficulties in social situations in our immediate surroundings by using humor that is non-offensive can sometimes be useful. Okay, then a similar phenomenon. It's not exactly humor, but that phenomenon is called the smile. And smile also self-medicates and heals. So if somebody smiles a lot, yes, they have a good effect on other people. But first of all, it has a strong effect on the person smiling. It's almost like medicating yourself. It's almost like making yourself feel better. So smile self-medicates and heals. But then it can disarm opponents and indicates absence of threat. As a general principle, a smile is intended to make others feel better, and it usually does disarm opponents and make people feel less threatened. It helps you feel good, and it helps the other person feel good. And there is actually a phenomenon called mirror neurons. There are neurons in our brain that mirror the other person's facial expressions and so on. So if somebody smiles, even if we are not deliberately smiling in return, these mirror neurons force us to move our smile muscles imperceptibly. So some of us may resist it, but most of us can't help but smile back. So smiling is something that is usually a good idea. And if you remember, at any given time that you're feeling stressed, and if you just remember that, oh, a smile can help me feel good, you would be surprised how effective this can be as a strategy. Okay, now I don't know how open you would be to doing this little exercise, but it's based on the idea that gratitude makes us feel very, very good. If we're grateful to God, or if we're grateful to people near us, if we are grateful to people around us, we're grateful to people who've done us a good favor in our lives, we tend to feel better as a result. So do you think you have a pencil or a pen handy? And do you think you'd be open to writing something like 100 words? Gee, what do people think? Is it okay?
Yeah, it is
Yes,
okay.
I think so.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
sure.
So write a letter expressing gratitude to the most supportive person in your life.
We'll do it in the evening.
Is
How about right now?
procrastination allowed? Oh. Right now will take a long time, I think, right?
Okay, okay. So we'll leave it as as homework, but you have to promise me to try it and see what it makes you feel like. It's a very, very powerful activity, and I found myself in tears the first time I did that. So if you write, but these were good kind of tears, makes one feel better. Okay, the other sentiment that can be very, very powerful source of happiness and reliever of stress is love. Would somebody like to read this?
Zulfiqar.
Yeah, please read.
Satwa, did you want to read it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love to.
Go
When
ahead. Go ahead.
someone else's happiness is your happiness, that is love. Beautiful.
Okay, great. Would somebody like to read this?
There's only one happiness in life, to love and be loved.
Okay. And here's another one.
Hisham.
I love you not because of who you are, but because of who I am when I am with you.
Okay, so now again, I know you're not into writing things right now, but if you can just think of one person, let's not talk about 5 people. If you can just think of one person you love, think of 3 things each of you will do this month that can help you express your love. So just think of one person in your life that you really, really love, and think of 3 things you will do this month, or things you can do this month to express your love for them. And would
Wow.
somebody please volunteer and say what are those 3 things you would do for the person you will love, you love?
I wonder who I can pick on if no one volunteers. Is someone going to volunteer?
If
Somebody
no one
should.
else, then I will.
Go ahead, Satwar. I like you. You're brave. Go ahead.
You see, the person I love the most is my uncle, who is a psychiatrist and is in Michigan. And he's the one who sponsored my education when I came to Michigan State University for my master's program. He has been
Wow.
so kind to me, but I now recall that it never happened to me that I ever would extend my sense of deep gratitude to what he has done to me. And now, when he's sick and is fighting cancer, I now want to do something. So maybe tonight I will write him a beautiful letter of showing my respect to him for what he has done for me, and then offer myself how maybe even I'm willing to go there and help him out to come out of this trouble, or at least share his pain, to attend him during this hour of distress. So these are just the feelings which have erupted out of this discussion which has been held in this session.
Thank you so much for sharing this very personal experience, Satwat. I appreciate it. And that's real love. And thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, so another source of happiness is optimism. You know, some of us are natural pessimists, and pessimism has its advantages. It does. You know, it protects us against bad events, bad people. It prepares us. But optimism in general allows for more creativity and greater productivity. Optimism also boosts self esteem, it makes for healthier relationships, and now there is research evidence to suggest that it promotes cardiovascular health. So your heart is healthier if you are an optimist. Now close your eyes. Visualize a great future ahead of you. Close your eyes, visualize a great future ahead of you, and imagine that maybe 10 years from now that you're very, very successful and top of your career in the world. You are giving a TED talk about your life and your success story. And now imagine that the crowd is cheering for you. Okay, great. How did it feel?
It felt so good.
Great. Thank you for
It's a
sharing. Anybody else?
state of
Sorry.
ecstasy.
Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Was someone else going to say something to Dr. Ajmal?
It was motivating.
Great. Okay. So that's the power of optimism. You know, when you see your future as brighter than it is now, if you see in the future great hope, you're likely to feel better in addition to actually having a better chance of achieving your goals. Then comes spirituality. Prayers, meditation, going to church, reading the Holy Quran, no matter what your religion, your connection to the divine, your connection to the spiritual, your connection to the deeper meaning inside you is likely to make you feel better in general about life. So, and it also connects you to your community, to your spiritual community. So, again, there is evidence that spirituality is a very, very powerful mechanism for. Okay, now quickly looking at time management. And I want to show you a video about the basic principle of time management. Here in this film clip, you will see Stephen Covey, author of this best-selling book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And here he discusses his novel concept of time management, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, but I will still show you this video and we'll discuss briefly what is new about this principle of time management. So let's watch this video. Can you see it?
No, your screen is blank.
Okay. Once again. Zoom, where are you? Okay. Okay. I'll stop the share. And now I will share screen.
Elizabeth, you have a work life?
Do?
Family life as well? Children?
Not yet.
Not yet. What's the nature of your work?
Okay, can anybody see this? Everybody see this?
No.
No, we can just hear the audio.
We can-
Right, let me get to the screen here.
And Dr. Ajmal, we have a few folks at work asking what time will the presentation end?
I was told 2 hours, but I can end whenever you feel like it.
Okay.
So for some reason, it's not showing up. Okay. And now or not?
Yeah, we can see now big
You can
rocks.
see,
Good.
right, big rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Your name is
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. You have a work life?
We can hear the audio and the video, but not the actual video.
Yeah. What's the nature of your work?
You can't see the video?
Mm-mm. At least I cannot.
No, we can't
Right.
see the video. We can just read big rocks first and the
Oh,
slide
okay.
change.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's not showing in the share. Is there anybody tech savvy who can help me out with this?
I wonder if you go straight to online and do it, if we would be able to see it there. If I go to Google and type in big rocks.
Okay. Although I have it on my screen, so I mean on my computer.
Stop sharing, would that help?
Okay,
I'm
let me
afraid
try
I'm
that.
not, yeah. And then
Yeah,
reshare.
Okay, let's try that. So share screen. PowerPoint, virtual background. general. Okay. Let's see if this works. I'll give it one last shot, otherwise we'll just move on.
But if we want to look at it by ourselves, do we just go on to Google and look for big rocks? Is that it?
Yes, big rocks. Let's see. I can't even find Google on here. That may be a good idea. Let me just quickly try Google and see if we can do something there.
I'll let
before-
everyone know in the chat too that they can always go and look at this offline. If not now, too later on.
Mhm.
My intuition is telling me there'll be better days.
What in the world is that?
Yeah.
I think that's the wrong big rocks. So we're
No,
looking
no,
for big rocks by who created the video or the is it big rocks? Franklin Covey. Oh, I found it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna share it in the chat feature too.
Okay. I think we got it.
Busy life, right? You have a work life,
Perfect. That's showing.
Now? Okay, great.
family
Thank you
life,
for that, Elaine.
children? Not yet. What's the nature of your work assignment? Consulting. Do you have a part of the firm, consulting firm?
Yes, I do. I direct an international firm.
An international firm. So you really are interfacing with all kinds of people in the firm and outside the firm.
That's right.
Do you also do direct work with the clients yourself?
That's right.
You have a number of associates you work with all around this country and throughout the world, starting.
Yes.
You want a rich personal life and a rich family life and also community and so forth. Do you ever feel like you get bogged down in the thick of thin things?
Yes.
Do you ever feel like your life is kind of out of balance, out of whack?
It can be.
Do you ever feel like you're in the pounding surf? You know, where you just have one big wave after another knock you down, you stagger back, and then here comes another wave, and another one knocks you down to where it just kind of beats you up. Well, that might be analogous to all these little small things that fill our life. And they're just little by little, they just accumulate. Now, your job, you can't go above this, is to get all those large rocks in the jar. Good luck. I'll describe each of the rocks as she puts them in. What's that one called?
Q2, planning, preparation.
Right. Planning, preparation, prevention, and empowerment. Q2. That which is not urgent, but important.
Right. Am I picking these up in any order?
Any way you want. You want to get them all in there because they're all important.
Can I move a little one?
Well, you have the little rocks as they are now, but you can't go above this.
Okay. Can I put this down?
Sure. Okay, the next rock she's putting in there is called relationships and family. She's trying to make it so she can get them all in there on the assumption that by moving the other ones around, it makes more space. You didn't look at that third rock you put in there. That's employment, some key employment issue, and then you put major projects here. I can't get it above there.
I haven't worked it yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not gonna work.
That's called Service Community Church. Do you ever feel like this?
Yes.
How many feel like this?
Am I still going?
Yeah, you can try to get them in there. You're a hands-on person.
I am. Oh, yeah. It's not very cool.
She just put down the sharpen the saw. How many frequently do that? I just don't have time today to sharpen the saw. You ever been too busy driving to take time to get gas?
This was important.
Vacation's important to her. By moving the little things around, you might squeeze in one more of those big major things.
It's like that.
It's almost. Wow. You know, if it doesn't fit, force it.
Do I have to really put all of these in here?
Well, no. You can neglect a big opportunity if you want.
No.
Here's something that's called urgent and important. It's a quadrant one thing that is blindsiding you, that it's your biggest client, that if you don't get back to that client now, you've given up your vacation. And you have no special block of time just for yourself. You have no young children. I'll tell you what you can do if you want to. You can take a whole different approach. You have a totally fresh bowl. You can work out of a different paradigm altogether. You can do anything you want.
So I can use that bucket. That's what you're saying.
Anything, yeah.
Well, then I'd rather put these in the bottom. And then pour the little pebbles on top.
Okay, she has sharpening the saw, planning, preparation, spouse,
Vacation,
employment,
big opportunity,
big opportunity,
important and urgent, block of time, community, church. Those young children keep looking at me. My husband's not here. No, I don't leave in there.
okay? You got all the important things in first, right?
That's right.
That's great. What did you learn?
I learned is I have an opportunity to do all the things that are important first and block out when I have the fullest amount available, and then all the little things will fill in the important things.
Even if this were higher with the green rocks, you may neglect some of those, see? But so what?
Those are just fillers.
Fillers, and they're not important. These things you've decided are the most important things.
Right. Okay, so what did we learn from this particular video?
We learned actually from this video that we should always give preference in time management to the most important and the bigger things, and then we go for all petty things, and then we can accomplish everything within the time frame we have.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that. See, the thing is, when we are planning our week, and a week is basically the best unit of time to plan for, because a month is too long, and quarter and year are even much longer, and a day is too short. Whenever we try to manage our life in terms of today and just worrying about what to do today, that's going to be like a very, very uphill task, and that is what has us burnt out and increases our stress. So if we just look at our weekly schedule first and put in the most important things first into our schedule, regardless of what is urgent, if we look at what is the most important thing in our life at that point, and we put that in our schedule first, let's say you got 30 things you have to do next week, and you think, I don't have enough time for all these. But if you decide that these 7 are the most important, you will at least be done with those 7 first. And then the other 23, well, some unimportant things might still be left out, but so what? So that is the essential principle behind Stephen Covey's time management principle, where we first of all schedule weekly, then we look at our most important priorities, and then we slot them in first. And then if something relatively less important is left, we can always do it the following week, and so on. So let's move on. Okay, quickly. Right, now let me share screen, and we got Big Rock first. All right. Okay, so I'd like to end this presentation with a quick body scan. Can you all see?
Yes.
Yeah. Quick body scan, and let's start again.
I think it's dark again, and Dr. Ajmal, a few of the attendees are asking if you can share the presentation after.
Sure, yeah, of course.
If you email it to Zulfiqar, we'll figure out a way to get it to everyone.
Right. I'll definitely do that. Okay. So just close your eyes. You don't have to worry about seeing a video here. Just close
Okay.
your eyes. And if you quickly focus your attention on your right hand and your right arm, very soon these will start to relax. And your left hand and your left arm will also start to relax very soon. And then your right shoulder and your left shoulder and your neck muscles, as well as your eyes, your face, and your jaws will start to relax very soon. All the muscles in your chest, your upper back, your abdomen, and your lower back, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet. Your entire body will start to relax very soon. And as you shift your attention back to your right hand and your right arm, you will notice that they've already started to relax as you breathe in slowly, deeply, and gently, and breathe out slowly and gently. And as you now focus on your left hand and your left arm, you'll notice that both your arms are getting more and more relaxed with every breath. And both your shoulders are starting to relax. And your neck feels like a big load has been lifted from it. And it's getting more and more relaxed. Your eyes, your face, your jaws, your chest, your back, your abdomen, hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet are all starting to relax more and more, getting more and more relaxed with every deep, long, slow, gentle breath.
पुराने वाले ओवन का रख लो ना इसमें
Getting more and more relaxed. And now, as you focus on your right arm, you notice that it's completely relaxed. And so is your left arm. Both your arms are completely relaxed as you breathe in slowly, deeply, and gently. And your shoulders and your neck, your eyes, your face, your jaws, all completely relaxed with every deep, long, slow, gentle breath. This feeling of relaxation is becoming deeper and deeper, more and more profound. And all the muscles in your chest and your back and your abdomen, and your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet are getting more and more relaxed, more and more deeply relaxed with every deep, long, slow, gentle breath.
Dr. Jamal, I don't know if it was intentional, but the COVID video is running in the background.
Sorry, what is running in the background?
The Frank Covey video, Big Rocks. It's running in the background.
Oh, let me just check. That's very strange because I don't have anything on my screen.
Yeah, I think it might be hidden somewhere because it is definitely running. You might just have to minimize all your windows and then see it's running.
Right.
If you do Control Alt Delete, you can and press on Task Manager, you can see all the.
It doesn't matter if, as long as it's not playing.
It is playing, right? Everyone can hear the video, right? We can hear the video. It's competing with your voice.
Oh my God. Okay, I've
It's only the music that we can hear.
So I think, I'm sorry, Hisham, can you hear it?
Yes, I think it's only the music that we can hear, not the video in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've got the video on your screen.
Doctor, please continue.
Yeah, okay. So as you continue to take deep, long, slow, gentle breaths, all the muscles in your body are feeling totally relaxed, and this relaxation is getting deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper with every slow, deep, long, gentle breath. And very soon this music will come to an end. And you will awaken refreshed, alert, and active. You will feel very, very strong. You will feel full of energy, full of vigor, full of strength. With every deep, long, slow, gentle breath, you are feeling more and more relaxed, more and more at ease, more and more at peace, yet at the same time feeling very, very strong, very, very powerful, like you can take on anything. No matter what the circumstances, you will face it bravely, with courage, yet feeling relaxed. No sign of agitation, no sign of anxiety, no sign of depression will hinder you in any way. Getting more and more relaxed, more and more at ease. And when you awaken from this relaxation, you will be alert, you will be active, you will be strong. Very soon, in about 10 seconds, the music will stop, and feel free to open your eyes All right. So I think it's we have time for a few questions. I would like to thank you for a very patient yet dynamic participation.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. And to be honest with you, Doctor, while you were talking, it appears to me as if a cool breeze is blowing around me during summer times. And there were some music notes coming into my ears, and all the ideas and concepts which you gave were just flowing through the mind, rather through the ears into the mind, having an overwhelming effect. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. It was really great to listen to this spectacular presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your very kind feedback. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Dr. Saab, may I ask one question?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering on one thing which is not directly related to your today's topic, but I was thinking whether there is some similarity or some relationship in metaphysics and your that clinical psychology which mix about stress management and other things.
Yes, see, the thing is, clinical psychology started out by being very technical and very sort of disease oriented. But now I would say these days we incorporate religious teachings, we incorporate meditation, we incorporate prayer, we incorporate spirituality. Whatever works is the idea here. You know, whatever makes people feel happy, whatever helps them find meaning in their lives. Psychology these days is much more open to all of these different phenomena, including metaphysics, including spirituality, as you said. Of course, we learn from Sufis, we learn from yogis, we learn from monks, and so for instance, in Pakistan, there are many clients to whom I recommend certain verses of the Holy Quran to help them cope with their difficulties. And similarly, when I used to work in England, I would encourage people to, especially those who were religious, to do some guided meditations with imagery of Jesus Christ. So I think these are all, sort of things that give meaning to people's lives and therefore are very important.
Dr.
Thank you,
Ajmal,
sir.
we do have one
Oh.
question. Someone, I don't know if this pertains to you or not, but someone's asking if there's a similar presentation to self-motivation as you did for stress management, because they really enjoyed the presentation. So
Right.
I don't know if you have a presentation on self-motivation and would be willing to do it at some point for the group.
I would love to design one. And I would also encourage people to watch Hypnotize Yourself. If you just type Hypnotize Yourself and my name on YouTube, I'm doing a series of videos to help people relax, to help people fight anxiety, to help people fight depression. These are basically just, hypnosis scripts using different cognitive behavioral techniques. So I would encourage people to view that, and those are in English. I have made a lot of videos for Pakistan and India in Urdu and Hindi. Right. Yeah, I would definitely love to. Yes. That's the
So
short
if we Google Hypnotize Yourself, what should we look for? Is it on YouTube and your name is next to it?
Yes, yes. If you just type Asir Ajmal and Hypnotize Yourself, all my Hypnotize Yourself videos, there are about 5 of them right now, but I'm making more and more, like once a week. So there would be a whole series of videos on this topic.
Okay, so everyone, did you get that? You have to type in Dr. Ajmal's name would hypnotize yourself. If you don't do that, you might get a lot of other videos. Thank you, Dr. Ajmal.
Thank you.
So I think if there are no questions, Ellen, we can call the session off.
I don't know if I see any other videos, any other questions, sorry. So are there any other questions from anyone? No, it doesn't look like it. So Zulfiqar and Hassan, would you like it? Dr. Ajmal, I really enjoyed your presentation, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Zulfiqar and Hassan, it's yours to end.
Yes, I think Dr. Saab, first of all, I would like to thank you for this great absorbing session. I think for me, it was personally first experience of having such a session on stress management. And I think it was a really wonderful session, and we would like to invite you on some other forums that we have. And thank you for taking your time out, and on behalf of Lahore Insurance Institute, again, my gratitude to all the participants and Ellen and Zulfiqar for conducting this. And the technical support was provided by our colleague Usman Khalil. So thank you, Usman, for being here and organizing everything. We were live on the Facebook as well. So this entire session will be available as a recorded session on our Facebook page of Lahore Insurance Institute. So over to Zulfiqar.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, for your so good webinar of today's. Actually, Hisham Saab, we once had a session, a whole day session with Dr. Asir Ajmal on that stress management. So that makes me feel that if he can volunteer himself for our group and Lahore Insurance Institute, and he was so kind that he gave us the time, as well as he shortened and briefed what he did in a whole day to 1.5 or 1 and 2 approximately in 2 hours. So I must have to thank Dr. Saab, and we will definitely do conduct some other session, not only in that form, this forum of IDIP and Lahore Insurance Institute, as well as we will do something in Insurance Association of Pakistan in future, if COVID will get something balanced. I also thanks Alan and Hisham Saab for your support and for your technical team, Mr. Usman Khalil and Temur Beg and Zuhaib Kermani, as well as today I was surprised to see Mr. Khurshid Wan as well, and all other guests, and even Barsab, who has joined us as a co-host. So I hope to continue with this journey in future, and we'll have more and more webinars on technical as well as on soft things. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Saab.
Thank you very much for having me. I'd love to join you guys again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.